We have two disorganized tropical depressions over the Atlantic. I'm Mike Nasa with this evening update. It's very late Friday night, 11:30 midnight Friday night, Saturday morning, but I wanted to give the latest on Fred and our new depression out in the Atlantic. Taking a look at this satellite imagery, this very beautiful water vapor, you can see systems from right to left. This is our depression, which is east of the Lesser Antilles, forecast to be a tropical storm and move generally in that direction over the next couple of days. We'll talk about that. This is very disorganized Fred. Even though it's like, oh, it's blowing up over Cuba, trust me, the center is very hard to define at all on satellite, and obviously it's over Cuba, so it's over land, and we can't fly over there anyways, so we're just waiting and seeing what's going to happen when it pops out over water, but it looks like it's going to bring tropical storm force winds to the Keys. And then on the far left side of the screen, that system with the big hole in it is a very powerful major hurricane, Linda. Remember, Linda yesterday was a Category 1. Well, it's now a Category 3. Much better looking than our two depressions in the Atlantic. Let's get the latest on Fred since it's closest to home. Now, tropical depression Fred, it's not a tropical storm. Winds of 35, it's at 22.7 north, 80.6 west. Smack dab in the middle of Cuba. It's moving west at 12, so not as fast as yesterday. That pressure is very high, 1,013 millibars. Very, very high pressure, a very weak tropical depression, and you can see it is forecast to stay a depression, but once it moves over the Gulf, by tomorrow night, Saturday night, it should start to be in a slightly better environment and strengthen back to a tropical storm. And for that reason, we do have a tropical storm warning in effect for the Florida Keys west of the 7 Mile Bridge to the dry Tortugas. So if anybody who's been to the Keys, you know that that's pretty much all of the Keys. So you guys are under the risk of the tropical storm force winds by tomorrow night impacting you. After that, Fred should not become a hurricane, although there is some uncertainty. Right now, we don't think it'll be a hurricane, but by Monday night, it should be making landfall somewhere along the northeast Gulf Coast, anywhere from the Big Bend and Apalachicola all the way over to the Mississippi-Alabama border. You guys got to be watching for landfall, but the main threat with Fred, even if it were to become a low-end hurricane, is going to be rainfall, and so that's going to be what we're talking about. Now, here's the model guidance. You can see they're trending west, but not as extravagantly as before. And they do seem to be in pretty good agreement somewhere right here on the panhandle. So that's pretty tight model agreement. We'll see if that holds. But again, we have an ill-defined center sitting over Cuba. So we don't know. What if the center reforms here? What if it reforms out here? There's still uncertainty with that. The general thinking is around the periphery of the high pressure to its north, and that periphery is going to allow it to slide west-northwest into the Gulf Coast. So you guys all need to be overlooking your plans in case that nasty weather heads your way. Here's the satellite of Fred, and what a disorganized storm. Most of the thunderstorms are north of the Cayman Islands, south of the island of Cuba. And we think the center is, where did they say it was? Somewhere in this general vicinity? I don't see any spin, but we don't have daytime visible. It's nighttime. Nevertheless, you can see lightning and thunderstorms here in South Florida. This is going to get worse. You still have a tropical system, and even a little depression can stir up those waters of the Gulf very nasty. So any boats out there and all that, you'll want to drag that stuff in and stay out of the water because it could be nasty and dangerous. The rainfall with Fred, as I mentioned, that's going to be the main threat, anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 to 10 inches. But again, depending on the track, it could be lopsided. It's also going to be interacting with a front, and that will only prolong the agony of rainfall further and further north. That's why the flash flood risk over the next 3 days goes all the way into states like South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, because it's not just going to be where a center of the storm makes landfall. It'll probably be well away and interacting with a front. So the messages for Fred as of 11 p.m. Friday night. Number 1, tonight through Monday, heavy rainfall could lead to flooding impacts all across central Florida into the Big Bend. And from Sunday onward, heavy rain and flood impacts into the southeast and southern and central Appalachians and Piedmont, as mentioned, with Fred interacting with that front. Number 2, tropical storm conditions are expected in the lower Florida Keys on Saturday. That's why we have that tropical storm warning. You guys need to hunker down. And number 3, there is a risk of tropical storm conditions in the Florida Panhandle beginning on Monday. Watches will probably go up sometime during the day Saturday. So that's Fred. Now we go further out. Here's our new tropical depression. This is Tropical Depression 7 as of 11 p.m. It was at 15.5 north, 53.8 west. Winds were 35. It's moving west at 21 very quickly. The pressure is still about 1,010 millibars. Lower than Fred, but still ridiculously high. I mean, depressions can have pressures, 1,001, 1,003. 1010 millibars, that high pressure tells me that the high pressure to the north of the circulation is really impactful. Still, this is expected to become a tropical storm in the next 12 to 24 hours. If and when it does, it will be named Grace this year. We do have a tropical storm warning in effect for Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Montserrat. We also have a tropical storm warning for Saba, St. Eustatius, Sint Maarten, and St. Barthelemy. We have a tropical storm watch in effect for the British Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, including the islands of Culebra and Vieques. Okay? So all of these areas are under watches and warnings with the expectation of this system being a tropical storm, and it should start to move through Saturday night and Sunday morning. So you guys got less than 24 hours to batten down the hatches. After that, it is uncertain, just like with Fred the other day. We think it's going to impact Puerto Rico Sunday night and then scrape the north coast of the Dominican on Monday, and by Tuesday and Wednesday be moving here through the southern Bahamas. However, we don't know what the dry air situation will be. Will there be dry air inhibiting development? Will there be a lot of wind shear? Will there be less wind shear? The waters are very hot. As long as it stays over water, the water temperatures are no problem. It's more if it goes over land and can't strengthen, or if the upper level winds, the wind shear is unfavorable. Right now, it's too soon to say. But by Wednesday night, Thursday, we could have a system here off the southeast coast of Florida. But again, is it going to be like Fred over Cuba? Is it going to be further north? We just don't know, to be quite honest with you. Here's the satellite imagery, and man, this looks bad. I mean, it's flaring up here and there, but look at that. I mean, I think it clearly has a circulation. You could see the spinning even on this nighttime IR, but good grief. It's moving so darn fast that easterly wind shear is not helping it, and it just doesn't look good at all. So I don't think this is going to become a tropical storm, at least not in the next couple of hours, unless it bursts overnight. Here's the model guidance, and again, the stronger the storm is, the more likely it is to move in this general direction. Let me tell you, that red line I drew, you do not want that line. Because if that's the line it takes, it probably is a much stronger storm or a powerful one, maybe even a strong hurricane, and it heads directly through all the Bahamas towards Florida. You don't want to wish it on the Caribbean with heavy rain, but if it stays over land, it's much weaker. So again, somewhere in this general vicinity, we're thinking generally Puerto Rico, north of the Dominican, and we'll see how the environment is down the line. Upper level winds, as mentioned, the wind shear here is looking less favorable over Fred and our depression, so that's been inhibiting it. But looking at the tendencies, not that bad ahead of either one, so we're going to wait and see. Give them time. Let them see how the environment is in the next couple of days. So we have our two systems. Fred going to impact the Florida Keys as a tropical storm Saturday, and our depression probably going to impact the islands Sunday as a tropical storm. We're going to watch both of them. Finally, out in the eastern Pacific, we have that beautiful Hurricane Linda. I wanted to show you the satellite imagery. Look at that fat donut. It does look like it's weakening a little bit, though. It looks like some northerly shear, but still a major hurricane in the Pacific. So we're going to watch all of these systems, and I'll be back with frequent updates as we watch Fred, our tropical depression, and always taking a peek at the Pacific. I'm Mike Naso, and I'll talk to you guys next time.